Hey, so
People are coming,
Sheree.
people are coming in like crazy.
Okay, wait, let me see if I need to post the link.
We posted it on Facebook and HowlRound.
Hi,
Hello, darling.
that was very nice.
That was very nice.
It looked like there was like around 20 or so folks out there.
Yeah. Oh, well, which one were you looking at, Facebook or HowlRound?
Facebook.
Facebook is always low because we send people to HowlRound because
Oh, okay.
HowlRound
Okay.
does the analytics.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Facebook is always lower than HowlRound. But we get a full report, so I'll send it to you. Okay. Let's see if we have, just try unmuting everybody. This is so interesting here.
There's lots of people there.
Okay.
I'm sorry, question.
Yeah.
Is this talkback open to like audience or is it just us?
Yeah. No, it's audience.
Okay, is it on Facebook? My mom's asking.
Yeah, we put the link on Facebook.
I'm gonna post it.
Yeah.
On my page. Hang on.
So we're just waiting for people. If you're just joining us, we're just waiting for some audience members to join. Okay. There's quite a few though. It's like we have quite a few people. Great. It's nice to see some Writer Center members. Michelle Lima.
Oh, Bean. Wait, how come I can't
Hi,
see
Bean.
anybody? Oh,
So-
there she is. I'm Bean.
If you
Great
take
job.
you have to change your preferences, Rebekah, to taking off to show people that aren't on camera.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what it is? How do I?
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's see.
And it looks like looks like there's some family members.
Oh, wait, let me see here. How do I? Oh, here we go.
All right. Well, so I'm going to start and I'll just keep letting people in and we'll see how it goes. Thanks everybody for coming
Oh,
to the
Lauren's here.
reading.
Arthur's here. Hi, Gary's here. Oh my God. Okay. Oh,
So
Doc is
thanks
Jane.
everybody for coming to the reading. We're going to open it up and let y'all talk to Rebekah at the end. But before we do that, I just wanted to get some feedback from you. And I think you can type to me in the chat. You can send me questions in the chat, I believe. So let's see. Yeah, you should be able to, oh, it looks like, okay. Yeah, so send me any questions you may have, and I'll attempt to monitor all of this at the same time. It's our first talk back, so we're going to try this. But I guess the first question I would want to ask is, what did you like about the play? We'd love to tell Rebekah your favorite parts or anything that you loved about it or you want to see more of or anything at all. We love to tell her what you loved about it first, if you can, and just send it to me in the chat. So you'll see it should say Sheree Adams host, and that's who you can send it to. Okay, well, let's see. Okay, we got some feedback for you. Arthur Wong says it's a wonderful story. And Rebekah, can you tell us a little bit how the story came about?
Sure. Well, thanks to Sheree for making all of this happening, first of all, because without Sheree, this story wouldn't even have come to see the day of light, or the light of day, sorry. So yeah, when COVID hit, I started taking a writing class with Sheree, and that's where it started. Started with a solo show actually, and then that morphed into a TV pilot, and then it morphed into this this play. And it's really picking a time. Well, also coincidentally, it was when all the Asian hate crimes started happening as well. And so it reminded me of growing up in West Virginia. Not that we had hate crimes, but I got bullied for being different. And I'm sure that resonates with a lot of us when we go to a new place and we feel different and alone and isolated, and what that feels like. And so I wanted to write a story for children that would just share that experience, and sharing my time growing up in West Virginia and what that was like, and finding my way through it. So yeah, and we just had tons of animals. We really did have a Noah's Ark. And my mother really did say, yeah, as long as I named the animals, we wouldn't eat the ones that we named. So I made sure that I named pretty much all of them, except my mom did say, she said, do not name some of the ducks because we were going to have Peking duck. So,
Oh, well, so Michelle Lima said she loves the fantasy elements of the talking ponies.
Yeah, yeah.
And Drew Park says the play really captured what it's like to be Asian in a non-Asian environment and how we can cope with it.
Oh, good. Thank you, Drew.
Let's see. Joan Inglehapt, I hope I'm saying that right, said very engaging, kept our interest the whole time, very good messages.
Oh, good.
I think it is really important messages and a really important story, and I'm glad that you attempted. This is your first play, right?
Yeah, first, right? Yeah, first everything. Truly, everything. All of this is a first for me. So it's just, yeah.
Great. And so, can you tell us a little bit about, just so people understand the sort of process of new play development? Can you tell us a little bit about the process besides the writing the play in the class and the workshop? What was kind of left for you to do after that?
What?
Okay. So for folks who don't know about new play development, I can answer this. Actually.
Okay, yeah.
You can jump in if you want. Okay. So part of the new play development process is first we connect Becky with a director.
Oh, yeah.
And in this case, we were lucky enough to get Anthony Raffola, who is the artistic director of A Theater for Young Audiences, and a fabulous director, and a friend of mine for 20 years. And we lucked out because he's amazing, and he jumped right in. And Anthony, if you want to talk about the process at any point. And, we really just talked about the play and what we wanted, sort of to get out of the reading, because we're still developing the play and it's a developmental reading. And a big part of that is hearing professional actors read it. That's huge for us. And also getting the actors' feedback. For me, actors are extremely valuable in the new play development process, as is the director and dramaturgy. For me, it takes a village, right? So at the Writers Center, we have a group of directors, dramaturgs, and actors, and playwrights, obviously, and everybody participates in the new play development process because everybody's input is so important. So that's a little bit about the process. So this reading is her first reading of the play, and we had one rehearsal. Basically, we did a read through, and we can have Anthony talk about that if he wants, and Anthony gave notes to the actors. Anthony met with the sound designer. We do add sound to all of the readings. And, just because it helps tell the story. And we have a wonderful sound designer in residence named Mark McLean Wilson. He's fabulous. So we're just lucky on all fronts. We just have amazing people that work with us and that care about developing new work. So once we had the rehearsal, we did a tech rehearsal this morning without the actors. A cue to cue is what we call it, where, I go with the stage manager, Caitlin. Caitlin, are you there? She's wonderful. There she is. So we did a cue to cue with Caitlin, and it was a really good thing we did because we couldn't get all kinds of things to work.
Oh, no.
and it was a little bit of a panic. And then after she got off the phone with the sound designer, he fixed everything as usual. And by 10 o'clock, we were ready to go with the actors. And then we run a little bit of sound with the actors. And then by 11, we were live and ready to go. So that's a little bit about the process. I don't know if Becky and Anthony wanted, or any of the actors want to talk about the process.
You know, I was going to say, as Becky sort of mentioned, it had several different lives before it became a play, and it's interesting to take a piece that maybe started as a, like you said, as a television pilot. You know, with teleplays kind of being more, having lots of little tiny arcs, right, throughout the time of the piece, and then, you know, I think a little bit of what when Becky and I first talked before rehearsal even was how to find that longer through line, you know, for the play. And I think actually there was a lot more, because I think you could see the seeds in the first script that I read of that we were going to go down different paths with different animals. I think is what you were kind of setting up, but you kind of focused that down to just the ponies.
Yeah.
To really focus on them for the stage version, for this version of the script.
Yeah, and we really leaned a lot on Anthony for that kind of info, because I don't work in children's play, theater for young audiences. I don't work in that field, and so Anthony gave us invaluable information, you know, especially about plays that have animals in them and what age range that's for and why it's for those age ranges. It was fascinating and a big education for Becky and I.
And I already know how I'm going to do the next rewrite, so get ready.
Hey, can I ask a question of Becky?
Sure.
So you said this was originally conceived as a TV pilot. Is that right?
Yeah.
If you were to write this episodically, what kinds of storylines would you be looking into, at least initially?
That's a great question. Yeah, so each episode would focus on just a different aspect of what Becky goes through at school, and then also in the community, and then her going through her parents' divorce. I don't know what each, like, it wouldn't be like Buffy the Vampire Slayer where each episode is going off and killing a vampire, right? So it's more about different things that come up for Becky and how she deals with it, and working with it and talking with the ponies and the other animals. There's another whole backstory with them as to why they were forbidden from talking in the first place, and why Bob knows that they can talk. And so there's a whole magical backstory to that we develop as well. And then how Becky goes through her parents' divorce, and then her brother goes off to college, so she's really alone. And so it's just taking on that story. Just to give you a hint, the TV pilot ends right when Becky discovers that the animals can talk. And so that's the cliffhanger to the next episode. So the play, which was challenging for me, was finding a way to answer all the questions that I built up in the pilot so that it would move forward.
Yeah. My wife said she thought it would make an interesting animated series.
Yeah, so that's where we're heading, and that's what I would like to see, is that it's animated. And because it would just, I want all of the animals to talk. All of the animals have their backstory and a story. So, but for the play, we just focused really on the ponies. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We have a Doc Farrell. I hope I'm pronouncing your last name.
Yeah, Doc. Yes.
She said she agrees that the pony conversations were delightful. Good contrast to the abusive boy at school, which was important. FYI, see, even though painful. So important to see, although painful. So thank you for that. Anything else before we move on that you guys love or like or would love to see more of? Just send me a little message in the chat. We will open up mics at the end, though. I don't want you guys to feel like we're not going to do that.
Could I just interject really quick?
Sure.
I'm in the class with Becky where she's been developing this as both a TV show and now as a play. And I think one of the things that I love the most is that you're being very vulnerable and honest by telling these stories. And I think during the performance today, I felt a lot of the emotions from the actors. So major kudos to the actors for being able to convey them so poignantly. Courtney, I really loved how you had this play between like very sad and sort of depressed and anxious, but then you also had so much joy. So, because I think oftentimes in these race-specific plays, you get a lot of the sadness and the anxiety and the hate. So it was good to see that there was a balance there between the sad moments and then the happy moments. Because yes, this is a story with both, just like so many people's stories are. So I'm really glad that there was both of that in the mix.
Yeah, I gotta say, every actor, all you guys had me on this, which is what I wanted, I guess, and I just let myself go on this roller coaster. And I mean, I got chills at moments with just all of you, all of everything, every word, everything you guys did. It was just it just brought me back. It brought me completely back. It was, yes, it was, yeah.
And I would say, I don't know how long we've been working on this. Would you say from the pilot, like a year? Like
Yeah.
the pilot started a year ago?
Yeah, at least a year.
So we, and Drew and Michelle Lima's in the class. There's a few people here that are in the class, and Gary. And so I'm super intimate with the piece, I feel, right? But as I'm watching the actors, because actors bring so much, and these actors are so amazing, and I literally went, oh my God, that's a moment. And I've been working on this for a year, and I never realized that something was a moment until an actor comes in and shows me it's a moment. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. But that's how collaborative theater is, and we need all of these people to develop a piece.
Yeah.
I just want to lift up what Drew said about about having joy and having the hard stuff as well, right? And that's the honesty we look for, we strive for, in theater for young audiences, distinct from children's theater in a way, right? That it is honest, that it is art created for them to help young people kind of see where they are in the world, or to have empathy for others, or all of that. So it's so great work on everybody for that.
And I'm not that familiar with TYA and what you guys do, the Theater for Young Audiences, and I love the fact that you folded in, Rebekah, some pretty intense stuff, like when the Taiwanese mom is talking about the filthy Chinese. That's deep.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a conversation starter for some kids.
Yeah. There's if you're Chinese, if you're from China, or if you're from Taiwan, you would know the history between Taiwan and China. And my mother is the biggest proponent for Taiwan independence from China, and how the UN used to recognize Taiwan, and then through China's influence decided not to, but the US still supports Taiwan in the military, and blah, blah, blah. I could just go on. But yeah, so there's a great divide, just like we've seen with Hong Kong and China and Taiwan. In fact, someone just posted, I had seen Taiwan says, are we the next Hong Kong? And so it's really very tumultuous. So yeah, I wanted to bring that Taiwanese part definitely to light. So thank you.
And Becky, I'm not sure if you already told everybody this, but that is the farm, the actual farm.
Yes, this is the driveway to the house. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, and we have another message from Joan. She loved the animal sound effects and body language, what the actors brought to the animals. She loved it. Okay, well, so I wanted to see, part of helping Becky develop the pieces, to see if there was anything that was confusing to anybody, or something that was left undone or unsaid, or anything that you want to see more of. And if so, could you type something to me in the chat? That's super valuable for us as well, to know how you felt about things that maybe didn't tie up or that confused you.
Also, anything from the actors is I'm happy. I really need your feedback as well to know what it was like for you reading, what felt odd or confusing to you as well. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Well, so far nobody's writing, so they may not have found anything confusing.
Oh no, Drew! Yay, Drew!
Which is good. Drew has something. Drew, bring it
Yes.
on.
One of the things that I would love to see more of, and I think I have some knowledge of this from being in the class with you, but I really love the moment when Becky says, turning off the light switch for my family is a sign that I can show them that I love them.
Mhm.
And for me, I wonder if there's a way to bring that, because you've done it, I believe you did it twice where Becky actually switches the lights off. I wonder if with the power of three, if there's a way for her to do it at either the very end of the play or just as a way to really fully demonstrate that, like, not only does she love her family and this is how she shows it, but this is also a way for her to say that she's adjusted to living here now. Like, this is truly her home. She loves her family. They're going through some things, but that
Yeah.
will help show and demonstrate.
I think we had it in the
Great.
original and we cut it out because we liked the ending that we had. But yeah, I like the power of three, as you said. So
Yeah.
yeah. Thanks.
So Doc is wondering if the encounter with Billy was Becky's first brush with racism, and at her age, what was her understanding of the discrimination? So that's something she wanted to know more about.
That's a
And you can
great
answer her if
question.
you like to.
Huh? Oh wait, what, Shrey?
Feel free to answer her if you like, but just letting you know that was something she'd love to know more about.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question, Doc. Thank you. No, it wasn't my first time with racism. I think we had it I was in New Jersey before West Virginia, and then Utah before New Jersey. So we experienced it all through the way until beyond West Virginia. But I think to answer your question, in West Virginia, at the age that I was at 13, that's when it really hit me hard. Because I think before then, I was too young to really understand or know what was going on. And so when I was 13 and in West Virginia, and with the brutality that I got from Billy, and not just Billy's representative of it, but it was from many, it was from the whole, it was everywhere. And so it really hit me at that age in a way, and I didn't understand it. We didn't talk about it at all in our family. So I had no idea what it was. Yeah, I had no idea until I came out to California, and then I discovered there's other Asian people is this world. And so all the way up until that time, I had no idea. And it really, yeah, so that's why I'm messed up.
Caitlin would love to know more about the backstory of why ponies used to be able to talk and now they're not allowed to talk.
So it's a backstory of, gosh, Caitlin, that's a great question. It's actually going to be race. It's going to be more about differences race. So prior to this time, every animal could talk freely and openly. Humans and animals lived together symbiotically, and everybody knew we could talk. And then the humans got nervous about the animals talking and were afraid that they would fight back or revolt or whatever, because they weren't considered equal with the humans. So similar to races today. And so I bring in the race story that way. So the humans forbid animals from speaking ever again, but there was an underground animal world where they kept talking alive and did it in secret. And so that's why the animals can't talk. They're forbidden from talking.
So Planet of the Ponies.
Planet of the Ponies. Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. It's Planet of the Ponies. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very form follows function, right? Because the whole play is a metaphor for racism.
Yeah.
And I think also that's why the pilot, because there's so much to show and so much to say. And when we adapted into the play, it was a challenge what to keep out, because you know it has to be a certain length, and especially for theater for young audiences. So yeah, but in the pilot, she can tell all kinds of stories. So we do have other, let's see, feedback. Oh, okay. So Kelly wanted to know a little more about the similarities between Becky and Peanut, a little more of Peanut's why. So why is Peanut connected to Becky or helping Becky so much? A little bit more about that. So that's a great note.
Yeah, that's a great note.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Peanut, what in real life, so Peanut and Jelly Bean were my ponies. And Ying Ying and Yang Ying were my mom's ponies. So so for me, Peanut represents what Becky's real voice wants to be, because Peanut seems to be so I mean, he's confident, but he's also, I think, insecure with where he is and his surroundings, but he's able to have a voice. Like, he's always the one to say to the other groups, no, we need to do this or whatever. And I think that is what Becky's trying to get to learn, to have her own voice. And so she's drawn to Peanut in that sense of, what is this? Because in our family, we never talked back. We never said anything. And so Peanut is that voice that Becky, I think, is trying to find. Yeah.
And Arthur Wong said to tell you that he grew up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, but could completely relate to the experiences.
Wow.
Yeah.
Arthur, we need to talk. Kelly, you had something else?
No, well, I first of all felt bad that I was just lurking like a creeper, so I thought I'd come on after asking the question. No, I thought that was all very clear what you said about what he represented, what he needed. I think I just wanted a little more of his actual backstory of what he had dealt with that made him such a touchstone for you. That's all.
Yeah, no, that's a great note, Kelly. I think, yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I loved it. I'll say that while I'm unmuted.
Thank you, Kelly.
Courtney, do you want to just tell Rebekah your note?
Oh.
I can read it if you want, but.
No, it's okay. It's a little long. So I was just kind of curious about Peter's character and his relationships to his parents. I think it could be something that would probably be further in the TV show, but like, you know, we know that the mom kind of treats him like the golden boy sometimes, yes, at the cost of Becky. Yes. And we also see that Ted has a very specific relationship with his father. Yes. And I was curious how that translates to how Ted treats Peter and how that relationship works too.
Yeah, that's a great note. Yeah. Peter is golden child to both my dad and my mom. So yeah, I could definitely, yeah, that's a great note. Thank you, Courtney. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Peter does nothing wrong to this day. Still, I can say that because my family's not here.
Still going on, yeah.
Yeah. My mom will still cut my brother's meat.
Wow.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Well, so we can open it up at this point. Are there any other things that anybody wants to say to Becky, or any questions for Becky, or what have you? You can raise your hands if you like. If you don't know how to do that, you can, I can probably just unmute everybody. I think I'm still learning how to do this.
Just gonna force unmute, just gonna make you talk.
Okay, you should be able to unmute yourselves now. Maybe.
Oh.
Okay, so this is Mimi. I'm a friend of Rebekah. Hi, Rebekah.
Hi,
I have
Mimi.
a question about regarding the pilot. So, because now that it's gone this way as far as a play, will it become a TV pilot? Are you still looking into that, or what's happening with that?
If you know a producer, director that would like to put this on Who Wants My Pilot, I'm happy to do that. Yeah, Meme, I don't know. I'm submitting the pilot to contests and competitions, but it takes a miracle to get anything made in Hollywood these days. So I would love for it to be picked up and taken, but who knows?
I think, there's a little bit of a process to that, like a pitch deck, which I know you've been looking into that. So Becky's sort of continuing the process of developing a pilot, which, you have to write the Bible for, which is, all the information in the story that other writers may have to refer to at some point, or that producers can refer to at some point. So writing the Bible and creating a pitch deck, which she's working on her own with, but are certainly classes that we will eventually need to offer, because during the pandemic, I wanted to keep the writers as engaged as possible. So we brought in professionals from the entertainment industry to teach them how to write a pilot. And so everybody has like two, sometimes some have 3 pilots now, which they didn't have before. And so now they're all in the process of like, okay, what? And so the next step is the pitch deck and the Bible, and those are just 2 steps. There's many steps, but they just finished their pilots, and now we have to look at what do we do after that. So it's all a process for sure. Anybody else want to say anything to Becky, or any thoughts for her? Okay, Anthony and Drew. Drew, you want to go first? Okay, are you muted? I'm sorry. Can you unmute yourself? No? Can you unmute him?
You're all on permanent mute. I want to say thank you to everybody for
There you go.
coming. Oh, okay, go ahead.
I wondered, Becky, did this process change how you think about the pilot, how you think about a television version at all?
Oh yeah, a lot. I think, yes, the short answer is yes. I need to go back, and I'm going to change dialogue, change a lot in the pilot, because seeing what the actors did, what you did, and just seeing it come to life makes it, I want to tighten it up for sure, and make changes to it, and for sure.
Anybody else? Drew, are you unmuted? Okay, good. Sorry.
Becky, how do you feel about, I know that theater is maybe in a state of flux right now, but how do you feel about translating this into actually on stage, maybe here in Southern California or elsewhere?
Oh my gosh, Drew, I would love it. I would love it. I don't know if I could survive the emotional roller coaster every time. But yes, yeah, Drew, I do have rewrites in mind. I want, Anthony gave some really, really great notes, for me to take in, that I want to change. So I want to make it even tighter and better. And, if it could be on the real stage, that would be, that would be a kick. I don't even know, my head would explode, I think, at that point. This was, I'm happy with this. This is awesome. So.
Well, you'll get used to it though, Becky, after like the 20th production.
I don't know.
You're like, oh yeah, it's going up it, blah, blah, blah. But also, one of the things we always say in the Writer's Center is we quote Sheldon Epps, who was one of the great leaders of the Pasadena Playhouse, when he said he learns more about a play he developed in the second production. That's how long it takes you to develop a piece. You keep developing it. Opening night, you're still like, oh.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
what that
I would love to have this same cast. You guys all just I would love this cast. I mean, and
Yeah, they're
Anthony, obviously,
perfect.
the director. I mean, I wouldn't, this was it, you guys. I just loved all of it. And I swear, Courtney, you play a much better me than me. So I need, yeah.
Becky squared.
I want you to play me in everything that I write.
Well, does anybody? Oh, Arthur's raising his hand.
Okay, it's Mimi. I have a quick question.
Oh,
Well, a
it's
couple
Mimi.
questions.
Mimi.
One is, was this production recorded, and can it be pushed out? Like, can you share that? Because I would love.
Yes, it will be. It's on our Facebook page as we speak. It was recorded, and you can always get it on the Facebook page. It'll eventually be on the LA Writer Center website in like a week. And then HowlRound link, which is all over our social media, it's there now too, and will be there for, I think they keep it there for, I don't know how many months, but they'll keep it there for a while.
Okay, that's great. And then I had a question for the actors. You guys were all so good. I mean, really awesome. And I agree, like, you know, it was kind of, my emotions was attaching on to everything that you guys were doing, which was fantastic. So my question is for the actors, is this something that you've done before, meaning performing on Zoom, or is this the first go around on Zoom acting, or? So I was just curious.
Great question, Meme. Yeah. Actors?
I guess I'll start. No, this is definitely, I feel like plays are a lot better for Zoom. I did a Zoom musical.
Oh,
That was a beautiful hot mess. But no, I think theater is loved so much. Theater is such a tight community in a way that it'll always go through. Like, it definitely survived the pandemic despite, you know, Broadway being closed and all that. And I feel like I'm going on a tangent off of your question. Basically, yes, this is not my first Zoom show, and but I think they're great, and they definitely allow people from far away. Like, for example, Anthony said he's in Texas, so it's like obviously you wouldn't be able to direct us in person in California. So it's really nice to get people together and like-minded individuals.
How about Bill? How many Zoom readings have you done?
Unmute. I have done a lot, and several of them with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, it's always, you know, it's been nice, even though we're shut in to some degree or dealing with what we're dealing with. Ever since I was a young actor, I have really enjoyed helping develop new works. And so because of Zoom and some decent hardware, I've been able to keep doing that. And I've been able to keep doing that even through the shutdown.
Yeah, and the Writer Center is just lucky that we have actors that want to develop new work, and they always say yes, and they're always there. We used to be partnered with a theater company called Syzygy, and that's where I met Bill. Mm-hmm. And Syzygy developed a lot of, the actors developed a lot of work with us, including in the artistic director, Martin Bedoyan. And that's where I met Bill, and I'm so grateful for meeting Bill because he's such an important part of a lot of the plays that we're developing.
Thank you.
So, yeah. And again, always says yes, and I'm always surprised. I'm like, I'm gonna ask him.
Should I start driving up my fee? Like start.
Yes. Exactly. I mean, you know, it's just I ask the best actors, because if they can't do it, they can't do it, you know. But in this case, we got all our first choices.
Yeah.
And you know, if they want to do it and they like to develop new work, they're there, and I'm so grateful.
I think Courtney, did you have something
Courtney.
You wanted to say? But you can't unmute.
Oh gosh, I don't know why. I'm so sorry.
Oh, no worries.
I'm sorry.
I have done a handful of Zoom reads. And it's gonna sound really cliche saying this, but this one specifically has been my favorite experience.
Oh,
And I mean, I'm gonna say, like, especially considering that this is your first time writing a play, I am deeply impressed with
oh,
the level and the quality of the writing and of the storytelling.
Good.
oh my gosh, Courtney,
Good.
thank you. Thank
deserve
you. I don't know what I'm doing. I tell Sheree that all the time. I'm like, Sheree, I don't know what I'm doing. What am I doing?
Me too.
Drew knows
You know
too.
what?
Drew's-
When people write their first play, they always think they don't know what they're doing. You have to start somewhere. You have to begin somewhere. And as the great Diana Gibson once said, God rest her soul, playwrights have to come from somewhere. You know, you got to just try it. If you want to write something, you just need to write it. You know, that's really, when people say, how do I start? I go, just start.
Yeah, that's what Sheree says. That's what
do
Sheree,
it.
Becky, just write it. And I'm like, I don't know what? I've never written a play. Anyway, yeah.
But you wrote a play, right?
Yeah.
There you go. It worked. Derek, how about you? How many Zoom readings have you done? You do improv.
I do improv, so I perform all the time doing improv. This is my first scripted stage
You
reading.
did a great job.
Thank you. So this was super fun. Yeah, it's hard to believe this was the first time you did this, Rebekah. This was
Yeah.
it was so good.
Oh, thanks, Derek.
Congrats.
Derek is, yeah. Well, you played my dad in Peanut. It was just so good. Oh my God.
That was fun.
Yeah. And I've played with Derek before on Zoom for improv. So
Yes, we did improv.
So Courtney's mother wants you to know that she'd like to be in all of your work as well.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
She also wanted to add that one of the benefits of Zoom is that you can see the faces and the expressions and everything so much better. So that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
There are benefits to Zoom, and I think our reach. You know, one of our first projects, I had like, I forget how many, but it was like 1,500 views from all over the world. We had people viewing it in because we get the statistics, the analytics from HowlRound, and we had people from, you know, it was international.
Wow.
I don't necessarily know why, but I know HowlRound is global. They have a global reach, so we get surprised sometimes when people are tuning in from. Well, does anybody have anything else before we wrap? Doc.
Duck. Oh, she can't. Can you unmute?
Oh my goodness, I am so sorry. There you go. Did that work?
Farrell?
It's not working. I'm hitting
know.
the correct button. I'm not sure. I'm sorry why it's not working. You can type me something if you want, but I'm hitting the right button and it's not working. Feel free to text or send me a message though. Sorry, Doc. She says, I know you're hitting the right button, but it doesn't work. Okay. Well, do you want to say something to Becky? I can read it to her before we go. You can't tell.
Oh.
Okay. All right. Well, I want to thank you all for coming and for being a part of this process. I'm so grateful, and it's really beneficial for Becky to move forward with that, you know, with developing the play. Thank you to the director and the actors and everyone involved, Caitlin, stage manager, the sound designer, but most of all to the audience for tuning in and letting us know how you feel about the piece. And here Doc says she wanted to say that that I think she's saying Becky's a very creative person and an idea generator. I think she's saying Becky, but that this experience inspired her to write other things.
Oh, good.
I think I read that right. Okay.
Oh, good.
All right.
Yeah, and just another big thank you to everybody. I I don't know how to convey the amount of gratitude that I have for all of you for just making this happen. For giving your time and energy and your talent is just, I'm like, why are you guys doing this? Well, why? I don't.
She asked me that. She goes, why are the actors doing it? And I said, because we asked them to do it. And then they read it and liked it. And she, oh.
So thank you so much. I hope our paths cross again in some form, and in person would be lovely. And yeah, so thank you so much.
Becky, do you want me to? I can stop recording, but you can stay on with your friends if you like.
Okay. Yeah, you can stop recording. And if anybody wants to hang out, I'm just on a high. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. So
again, thank you for everybody for being here and for helping us with this process.
Thank you. All right.